Yep, I did. Just wait.
Okay. Takes a couple seconds.
Yep, it's loaded here.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Builders of Bharat. It gives me great joy today because we're joined with someone who spent over 2 decades in the tech industry. And it's a little special because this person has done it with an emphasis on honing a particular skill set and compounding the returns for it for so many years. We have Mr. Murty who's joining us. He's the VP of Digital at Chubb. Welcome, sir. It's a pleasure to have you today.
Hey, thanks, Mukul. First of all, thanks for having me here. Look forward to have a nice conversation with you.
Definitely, sir. And it was in the build up to us coming to this session where you had kind of emphasized on how you'd like to send out a message to, the younger audience on how important it is to stick to a skill set and really see things through. And being a young person myself who's quite fickle and undecided with what I want to do, it really stuck with me and it really made me consider how I was building my skill sets too. So I believe the audience is in for a treat. And just a message to everyone in the audience, you can drop in questions in the chat box and we'll be sure to have those questions towards the end of the session. Sir, I'd like to begin the session. We try to start off on a lighter note. How were your childhood days and what kind of interests did you have back then?
Yeah, I mean, my childhood days back in 80s, a lot of information is not available, right? A lot of digital
Yeah,
media and all are not available. So only way for us to learn is learn from either a teacher or read a newspaper, printed media, right? At that point of
definitely.
time, I developed a lot of reading habit from reading a couple of newspapers every day morning. That's how I
Mhm.
used to connect with the world, right? All the information going around the world and all, right?
Absolutely.
That's where I used to spend a lot of time in reading, not only books, even especially the current affairs and what's going on around the world and all. That's what keep going me in my childhood. And I was also pretty well organized that whatever information I got, I used to organize and see how the world is evolving around us, with the lack of lot of information in those days.
Yeah.
From there, right, I kind of developed different uh, now these days, if I read a newspaper, probably I will read only highlights. But back days, I used to read fully so that I understand because that's the only
Mhm.
outside study thing which I can do. Okay, that's
Yeah.
how my childhood with very little information, but we broadened with some of the friends and print media and all. That's how I evolved in my childhood.
What
Okay.
would you say was the turning point for you? I mean, I understand that technology in itself was not booming as fast as it was, but I'm pretty sure even at that time, the things that were coming out were kind of, in a way, exposing you to an alternate reality. So, what were some of the things that came out back then? Some of the things you read about that kind of made you wonder what's possible with technology?
Yeah, first of all, even though I'm working in IT industry, I can say that I studied a graduation in my mechanical engineering. Okay, so
Right.
from my print media and all, I attracted towards industrialization, right? How can we automate the things? How can we mass
Absolutely.
manufacture instead of manually working, right? Different
Mhm.
articles and all back in a small towns and villages where a lot of things happens manually versus a lot of these things can be produced massively and all that
Right.
attracted me to goes towards mechanical engineering because a lot of
Mhm.
machines, mass manufacturing, industrial revolution one, two, and all other things, right?
Yeah.
That's how, and I always could able to see, right? Industrial revolution won't happen just with machines, right? A lot of these
Mhm.
machines connected and how these will operate in automated way. Power is
Yeah.
one thing, but the around the electronics and the software and all other things.
Mhm.
So I graduated mechanical engineering, but along with that, right, as I graduating, I kind of developed, right, now okay, I see industrialization, but what next, right? What next means how these machines and all things can work together to
Yeah.
automatically produces many things and eliminate a lot
Mm-hmm.
of manual activities and all. That's how
Right.
I developed interest in software and IT industry, and that's how
Mm-hmm.
I evolved from a mechanical background into IT industry.
Wonderful. And how did you go about? I mean, I understand that the information available about education and the kind of courses that are developed today are quite different. But back then, I understand that your inclination was towards understanding how industrial use cases could be found through automation. Uh, what was your mindset going into college versus getting out of college? How did you evolve there and kind of being exposed to technology? What were your expectations coming out of college? What did you want to achieve then?
Yeah, I mean, first I didn't do my plus two. Once after my 10th is over, I did my diploma in mechanical engineering. After that, I
Wonderful.
went into second year of mechanical engineering.
Mm-hmm.
So, my when I'm going to the college, my mindset is to develop good domain knowledge in mechanical, work in a core technology area, either in manufacturing or automation and all other things.
Mm-hmm.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
And as I'm going through that, right, as I said, I was almost ready to join one of the top manufacturing company, but
Mm-hmm.
during my final years of engineering, I think people around me evolving more into technology areas, right? IT
Mm-hmm.
industry, and how a lot of these things beyond automation, right? How these different softwares and these things will help in building and shaping up the career. Okay, so
Absolutely.
based on how I see others in my college and all, I kind of shifted from without joining a mechanical industry. Then I
Yeah.
started. In fact, I got an opportunity into one of the leading manufacturing automobile company as a management trainee.
Mm-hmm.
Then I didn't join that, but I kind of came out from my college, learned all the Java and all the IT technologies, and evolved over here. Then that's how I shifted from industrialization mindset to an IT world.
And did you kind of take a gap after college, or was it that you got a role and you learned on the job when you went in?
I took a 6 to 7 months break because,
Wonderful.
while studying, right, I was always focusing on mechanical engineering and only little bit
Mhm.
of software I know. Then I took
Yeah.
6 months break, and I learned a lot of these softwares, which I kind of know a little bit when I'm in college because of my academics and also what other
Mhm.
friends and all others are doing. But, focus 6 months on that and learned it. And from there, I joined into IT industry.
And how did you go about learning it? Mostly understand there was no Coursera back then. So what was your approach to learning a new skill set?
Yeah, see, I kind of took some of the advice of some of the friends and all, right, for
Mhm.
any of the IT language, right? It was back in old days, right? It's all
Mhm.
C++ and all
Yeah.
other languages. But whatever I quickly realized from friends and others are, for any software, the primary thing is three things, right? One is a front-end technology, other one is a back-end technology, and a kind of a layer where we can save the data and we can retrieve when we want.
Yeah.
So, with that mindset, right, I kind of tried learning Java and JSP and all at the time. Those are the popular ones. Now I will look back
Mhm.
and see. Then,
Mhm.
then for writing Java at the time, I learned JSP as my front end and learned some backend technologies, especially I was pretty good in SQL and PLSQL. Still, I
Mhm.
feel I'm successful because of my SQL and PSQL background because
The fundamentals.
that's yeah, those are the fundamentals, and also I not only learned to just program, but learn to see what it impacts in the way the software comes out, right? Whether it will be
Mhm.
fastness, slowness, and everything. I can say in the entire world, 90% of the fastness and slowness will come from how we will store and retrieve the data. Those aspects I
Absolutely.
learned it in a way. I think it shaped up my career itself. Okay,
Right.
then while explaining, I will probably go through that. Then
Mhm.
that's how I went with a mindset of I have to learn a front end technology, I have to learn a very good back end technology, and
Yeah.
those are the core fundamentals I took it, and from there I evolved over a period of time.
Wonderful, wonderful. And how did you go about, getting your first job? How were you approached by the company? How did you approach the company, or how did the interview process go back then?
Yeah, first interview, I mean, I casually walked into multiple companies. At the time, I got an opportunity to work on some UX tax filing companies. They interviewed, I didn't remember what went through the interview at that point of time, but
Yeah.
what made me curious is that it was a income tax filing for US tax, both states and federal returns. Pretty much entire coding logic was in PLSQL and front end is Java, JSP. That's what exactly I learned, right? That's the reason
Yeah.
I could able to, get into that quickly. And I think I can say I built my career in that company for about 2 years before joining GE as a consultant. So
Right.
those 2 years, I think, back days, right, used to work from morning 8 to night 10, and only fashion is to learn and develop and show that, right, which will be helpful to me as well as to the company. I think, that's how I I sh- I did. Yeah.
Wonderful. And any time in your first job, I mean, was there a feeling that maybe I should have gone back and, I've done a degree in mechanical, maybe that would have been a path. I was getting a role as a management trainee. Or were you pretty sure at that time that, I've learned this skill? I feel I can put it to good use at my current company, and I'm going to go ahead with that and do what I'm feeling good with.
Yeah, initial days I definitely felt about it, like having studied mechanical engineering in 6 years, right? Whatever I was doing is tax filing. Even
Yeah.
though I'm learning, I was thinking that all these 6 years of my study is probably not the one I am working through, and I am doing something in a Java and PLSQL, which is not related to my work. That is
Right.
probably led me to search for a next job where as soon as I interviewed into one of the company in GE Health, GE as a consultant, that's
Yeah.
where their work I need to do is an a PLM, which I could able to connect my background engineering work with the front end software work, because it's all
Right.
about PLM is all about product lifecycle management. So since I studied all the product manufacturing, industrialization, then design engineering and all. So,
Yeah.
so with my software background and these two things together came together to be successful in the PLM career in my initial days.
All right. And how was it? How was the feeling like joining a company like GE back then? Because I believe it was even my father, for that matter, he used to work with GE like long back, and he talks about it very fondly because it was seen as an achievement socially as well. So how was it joining GE and landing that job?
Yeah, in fact, frankly, when I got an offer from GE, I didn't even know what is GE, okay, because I know it's a big company, but my father
Yeah.
told me GE is General Electric because he was back days was doing some electrical goods business and General Electric from that one. So he asked, "Is
Yeah.
it General Electric?" I said, "Okay, we'll check it and let you know."
Yeah.
That's how I joined. But after once I joined, right, definitely I see it's one of the best company, and that's one of the reason I could able to work 19 years. That itself reflects that it's definitely good one. Pretty things are pretty well organized, and it's so much process are oriented. Sometimes you will first frustrate because of so much process as well, but
Yeah.
overall it's a good stint over there in GE for 19 years.
Wonderful, wonderful. And back then, I mean, while you were starting, I'm sure there might have been a lot of differences in terms of the culture as well. So, how was the culture different at GE when you walked in? I believe you were still young into your career and you had a couple years of experience. So, how was it different in the cultural aspect?
Yeah, I mean, see, in my previous company, it's like owned by someone. Okay.
Mhm.
And their relatives and they used to have a, okay, I am the manager kind of mindset, right?
Yeah.
But once I joined Z, whatever I quickly figured out is, right, you can go and talk to anyone at any level,
Mhm.
right? And people respect and the culturally open, and not only
Mhm.
Z, right? All the, most of the MNCs, right? There is no
Right.
proprietary mindset. All are working, probably some are experienced level and some are at the junior level, but
Mhm.
all roles are required so that to complete any kind of work. And
Absolutely.
it's all mission based or project based team alignment, right? Teams will
Mhm.
form and teams will be dismantled and all, which was
Right.
not the case in my previous company. In my previous company, around 100 people, everyone used to work on one project, and people who knows the things is difficult to get the information and all. But in GE, we used to have everything organized with the team structure, and teams used to form, people used to move across projects and all other things. That's a
Right.
good cultural shift to me from a proprietary owned company to a you know the multinational company with different projects and
Mhm.
different setups.
Understood. And obviously, we've talked about the longevity you had, but it wasn't just the length of your stint, it was also the way your roles grew and your responsibilities grew. So it was a gradual transition, but you definitely showed a lot of resilience there and grew from a system analyst to an IT technologist to a lead technologist. How did your responsibilities change across those positions?
Yeah, see, initially I started at that company as a developer. As
Mhm.
as once I kind of make some progress, they said, okay, why don't you take care of performance? Okay, I said, okay. I didn't know anything about performance, but back in days, I know SQL, what is
Mhm.
slow, what is fast. And all I thought, okay, let me give it a try. Okay, that's how
Yeah.
I started performance. Then, once I go to the performance, see, developer, you can work in only one module and you can develop only few things, right? But if you're
Mhm.
seeing the performance of entire application or few applications, then you can see broadly how things are going across the application, how things are performing at different layers across the
Yeah.
network, application layers, and all.
Mhm.
That okay, so as I working on that, they said, okay, you're doing good in performance, why don't you pick up support as well? So I said, okay, let me pick it up as well. So I worked on these two roles. I'm insisting explaining these to a lot of young developers and leaders are right, to say
Mhm.
always everyone thinks, so I want to be a developer, right? But once you
Mhm.
go outside development and see the things like performance, support,
Mhm.
where you need to still focus on what is I mean, whatever roles I did, I think always the core is what is the business process we are supporting, how the user
Right.
experience is, how the backend performance is, and how the application, what are the different failure modes, and the
Mhm.
where it is, right? As you evolve into different roles beyond development, then you will know, realize that there is a lot of things beyond development which you can work. That
Yeah.
and also that made me think like an architect. Like initially I was with a development mindset, then
Mhm.
as I work on other teams like performance and all, start thinking on broadly, start thinking on different places where it fail and all. That led me into
Yeah.
the architecture career path, which I could able to do it for several years. I still say I'm right now, even though I am a engineering leader, I still feel myself as an architect whenever possible. Think and question people like an architect. That my it's architect is not a role. I can say it's a mindset to think
Yeah.
about
That's
what's
something.
going on and where it can fail and where how it can be successful and how the experience
Mhm.
will drive on other aspects. So as I said, right, for as a, see every time you asked me about how did you able to do 19 years in a company, right? Every time I thought of, okay, do some change, I always picked up a new technology, started with PLM. Then after that, okay, company want to do something on PIM, that is Oracle Data Master. Okay,
Mhm.
then okay, why don't I try it, right? Even though I didn't know anything, since I know most of the people, I picked it up and then learned. Initially, again, same mindset of seeing what is front end, what is back end, and what is the business process, and how these will all come together to help systems and experience these two. With that mindset, I learned it. Then, after that, right, you will be bored again after 2 to 3 years. Then they said, okay, we are starting a PEGA, that is a BPM. Okay. So why don't I work on it? Then I learned a PEGA and I built a PEGA team for different workflow managements and all. And again, after a couple more years, thinking back and said, okay, now I am looking for some change. Then they said, okay, why don't you work in Salesforce? Then I moved into Salesforce and CPQ and all other things. So whatever, I always kept two things in my mind. Okay, I always should work on two projects or two functional areas. I don't want to work in only one, because what I do, that probably will constrain me in my thinking and all. So I always try to put into two projects or two things. That's one thing. And I always try to work on two different technologies. Okay. And keep changing technology after 3 4 years, not the company. The reason I'm saying it is, right, many people think, are worried. A lot of young people will think, oh, I'm working on one technology for long. Okay, if I change to another technology, I may not be able to adopt it and cope up with that and all other things. That's one of the myths in the lot of young people. And second thing is, right, they will think, oh, this project is getting over here, or not a useful work, and no development work and support work and all other activities. Those are the two reasons beyond pay for the people to change companies. So that's where I will say, right, once you learn two technologies, after the third and fourth one will be just matter of executing whatever your blueprint earlier you developed, right? That's one thing. And second thing is, working in different areas will help people work as a project manager, business analyst, all other different roles across the IT spectrum will help them to learn things and in a broad way, and look at the things at the broad way. That will help them to learn in a long term.
I guess having that exposure to multiple technologies also opens you up to
Yep.
experiencing why those technologies are being used, and
Absolutely.
that helps you understand the actual use case of technologies, and
Yep.
makes the road a lot smoother. I guess this is really a golden tip for anyone, because I believe a lot of people. I was reading this report actually. I believe it was by Embark, where they had kind of analyzed why people are moving out of companies. And number one reason was growth. Obviously, compensation and work-life balance followed this, but career growth was the primary reason that people were opting out. And I guess it is a myth that your career will grow if you move out of a company, whereas you can align your efforts with the company's efforts and build a career really strongly there. Uh, Wonderful, sir. I would love to know what challenges you faced when you were kind of moving into these new responsibilities and how you adapted to those challenges.
Yeah, especially I think when you're going from an individual contributor to a leadership role, okay, it's a mind shift. Mindset is the first thing which will impact us. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I am working in this particular technology for so long. I know how to do the things and I'm perfect at it. And, I can do the best probably in this company, right? And that's what will come to your mind. But once you expand and go into a leadership role, doing everything by yourself is not possible. Okay.
Yeah.
You have to trust the team, and you have to accept different ways of doing things, right?
Right.
But see, the thing is, right, as a leader, you have to set a target for yourself and see, I want to accomplish this, right? I want to accomplish means this, I need to divide this into these bits, and I have to assign it to different people, and how these will come together, and trust the people and respect the people and different opinions, and all these things, how these will come together is the one which we have to worry. If you keep worrying and perfectioning in one particular area, which probably okay, you will never be happy, and the team will not be happy as well. That's the reason I will suggest, right? The biggest thing is a mind shift change that, okay, I'm doing in this way, but someone else may be doing in a different way. But as long as the objective is met, it's okay. That's fine. And some people will be very quick, and some people will be a little slow to start with. And we should be able to accept all the styles of different people. And if they're continuously not performing, it's a different story. But initially, right, we should give them some room and give them some time and accept different ways of doing things. Those are the primary things which we have to adjust it. That's the only way we can grow. Otherwise, we will be worried on, I can do this better. Yes, I can. I can tell you that, you can do better, because that's not because we are special. We worked in this domain or in this project or in this company. We know it. Others are new. We have to accept that, and we have to give that freedom to the people to work on it. That's how I can say that's what the primary thing on the mindset. And second thing is, right, second thing is identify the key stakeholder management, because initially when you are an individual strong technology background, if you come from, the first thing will happen in your mind is, I know this better than my stakeholders, why should I explain it to someone? That's what will come in. Most of the people came from a technology career path, okay, because they know it. I mean it, they know it. But they are as your stakeholder for separate reason. They got separate strengths. They got probably different business knowledge. They got probably they're located in a different place which is close to a customer. They got their own skill set. They may be very close to business and transactions and all other things. So they might not know the technology because that is not their core strength. The moment you realize your stakeholder, what are their strengths, and how can you work together with them, rather than thinking, oh, I am explaining to a person who didn't know anything. That's what will come into the technology people's mindset. That will help them to grow. I'm telling you very openly that you have to understand your stakeholders, and you have to adapt and tweak your style to work with them, so that it will be successful for you as well as for the stakeholders and for the company as well. These are the two primary things I will say from anyone going from a technology background to a management role. These are the two primary things they have to work towards. Okay.
I think it's really interesting because the first point you mentioned was internal collaboration within your team. And the second was external collaboration with the other stakeholders your team is working with. And I think when it comes down to how successfully things are executed, it is this very collaboration that everything relies on. It's the foundation of how successful things can be. So I think it's very important for people to realize just how communication and having that ease in communication as well with your stakeholders, empathizing with them is crucial to kind of achieve the business outcomes you're aiming to achieve. Wonderful, sir. And so currently, since you're in a leadership role and you've spent so many years in leadership roles across, now Chubb and earlier GE, usually when I'm approaching people with this question, it's at least 3 to 4 companies, but in your case, it's just GE and Chubb. How do you approach, team development, and how do you approach, I mean, you spoke about how you give them the freedom, but in terms of high stake projects where delivery is crucial and there is a timeline to everything, how do you approach your team and how do you lead them to achieve that outcome in that, while also having that mindset of giving them the freedom?
Okay, I think in the high stake projects are where a lot of issues and all are there. I think the first thing is prioritization. Okay, so everyone will say I need everything yesterday, not even today, right? That's where this will come, right? Then see, the thing is, right, there are two things we have to manage. First is prioritize what is priority for business, which is the outcome, which will add value. Okay, if you put 20 things in a project, okay, I'm pretty sure 10 things will stay top than the other 10 things. So prioritize whatever adds more value. We have to prioritize. That's the first thing. Second thing is, right, in order to achieve that with the amount of limited resources, if you have unlimited resources, we can deliver anything, anytime, right? That's
Right.
not the case. With the limited amount of resources we have, how can we distribute our resources across these priorities and with a timeline? And, also see whether you can get some additional help and whether how can we help not only technology wise, right? A lot of things, coding is probably 50%, right? Remaining 50% is detailing of the requirement, how to put these end-to-end session, whether it's possible to collocate a team for a week or two, wherever is possible, put together your team structure wise, give them a little bit room initially to understand and put a timeline and see who can do best in which area. And
Right.
then after that, right, as we develop some of these, right, give a early feedback and be with the team. That's another thing which is important, right? If you ask everyone to complete by end of the day and you yourself leave, then everyone will think the first thing will come into the people's mind is, oh man, I am only a person who is working here. That's what I think as a leader, first thing I will address is be with the team and identify priorities, allocate, based on their strengths and get some additional help and explain in a way which, along with stakeholders, sit and explain in the way which demystifies many things so that we can make progress early. And definitely, if once we play all these things, if we can get any additional resources, additional timeline, but which will not be the case in most of the cases, right? So we have to work on these limitations and see. At times, I feel not very good to work on weekend and all other things, but if required, we may need to work once or twice and not entire year. Then it's not a good culture and good team. But
Absolutely.
we may need to stretch ourselves a little bit, team little bit, and probably once that is done, definitely you have to remember all the team, whatever they stretched, kind of acknowledge their work and also give them some time off. All other things will come as a parcel. Then that's where the trust will come, and people will work towards completing how it is important and motivate them. These are the some of the aspects which I will try, Mukul. And sometimes after all these arts also, there may be some feedback and all other
Hiccups.
things, but it is part of parcel of life, right? We can see probably how can we help to the best possible outcome with the amount of all these constraints.
Yeah, and if there weren't any hiccups, we wouldn't have anything to learn from.
Yes,
And
we don't have anything to learn from. And
that's how
I will
we
even
keep
tell
it
a
up.
lot of people, right? Oh, I have so many issues. I will even tell some of the team members, we have this much big team and we have jobs because of the issues, right? If no issues, if everything goes seamlessly, half of the team may not be required, not only in this company, in the entire world, right? The issues are part of the life. Everything working in lower environments won't work in other environments. Stakeholders also will get new thoughts and ideas once we develop something, because that's where,
Right.
and we have to clearly differentiate what is a defect versus enhancement and all. And definitely happy to help, but not immediately, but probably once all high priority things are complete and all. So these are some of the tips or ways of work which we will practice, and I'm pretty sure there may be a few other things I can learn, and it's not a one static list. It will keep evolving after every project, as you mentioned. We have to do retrospective after things are done and how would have been done better, and how can we plan better next time and all other aspects as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just a follow-up question to this, since we're already thinking about how to plan for teams. What do you look for in candidates when you're interviewing, or let's say looking to hire for your team? What are some considerations you have? And I understand that not everything is core technical. There must be some soft skills, or to say cultural values you look for in an individual. So, if you could shed some light on what you look for in a candidate.
Yeah, see, technology is definitely core aspect. Whatever they worked on it, they should be able to explain in the way at least reasonably good. Okay, that's what the minimum expectation is. I think which will be the everyone's expectation. But beyond technology, right, other aspects is honesty. Okay, no one will work in and whichever technology you work on, no one will be perfect in every area, right? You can say which is your strength and which areas you didn't work openly. I respect people who says, "Oh, I'm strong in this area. I didn't work on these 4 areas," which is good, than saying I did everything and trying to cover it up, right? Which probably is not good in the longer run. I
Right.
kind of like the honesty thing. That's the first thing. And second thing is, right, how collaborative they are and how ready to accept their mistakes and how they can do things better than what they did earlier. See, if I look back myself on last 19 years, a lot of things what the way I did, now I will laugh myself, I did like that, right? Which is the case in most of the people. No one is perfect, and we all
Right.
will learn as long as people realize their weaknesses and how their areas to work on, and honestly and frankly speaking, what area they worked and what are their areas where they didn't work. The also, right, the one of the aspects I will see is we should never hire a person who knows everything in that role, because there will not be any learning from them once they come on board, right? They should have
Right.
some learning, either a business process wise or technology wise, or both, or some other key uh, key skills, right? Which are 21st, fourth technology skills or whatever, right? 24th generation skills and all other things. If everything is perfect, probably you are hiring them at a lower level than their current role needed, right? That's how I
Right.
see it. And these are some of the things I will look for while hiring beyond the technology skill set. Okay.
Wonderful, wonderful. I guess it goes back to you emphasizing on collaboration, and I think the honesty is linked with that as well, because there's transparency, the collaboration is more seamless. So I guess it really strings together, and it's great to hear how that collaboration has been at the root of what you've done across your career. So what does your current day-to-day at Chubb look like? And how has it changed, let's say, from what you were doing at GE?
Yeah, I don't know how much of Chubb I can speak because I'm relatively new into this 6 months old. I can
Yeah.
still speak on very high level, but I can tell my thing, right? Being coming from an industrial company, it's very difficult to make a hardware product, and it takes, let's say, CTR, MR, and all other missions, right? It's a very heavy mission, get millions of approvals and
Right.
reviews and all other things to put a product in the market. And
Mhm.
if you see, even GE evolved over a period of time from a software to the solution selling and all other things beyond hardware, right? But
Right.
if I come into the job and I see the digital transformation over there, there is no actual product over there physically, right? All the thing
Mhm.
we are selling is insurance, which is like taking risk from the customer and spreading across all the customers. So
Yeah.
I kind of wondered, right, from hardware product to a the software product, how the different world it is. That's
Yeah.
why, first of all, that's even interesting learning to me as well.
Absolutely.
Then second, I mean, that is what all about technology, right? Because there is no
Mhm.
physical product. What we are selling is insurance. It means I mean, it's all about companies' commitment and long history and all, based on that people are buying. But the
Yeah.
software is one enabling that. And in coming to my job day to day, I'm working as a VP digital engineering team. My focus
Mhm.
is product development for enabling digital selling through different partners and all. And
Right.
we are working more towards engineering excellence. That
Mhm.
means how efficiently we will deliver on time, and so many metrics and all, which probably I will not be able to speak up now, but how
Right.
can we measure it? And also all API first and a lot of automation. I can say, if I compare G and Chubb, right? G is more traditional company, evolved with a lot of enterprise systems, and
Mhm.
it's a little difficult to do a change. Whereas Chubb is more into modern technologies and tech stack up to date, security wise, we are all up to date, and everything is automated in terms of DevOps, 100% DevOps. I never see in my 19 years career in GE and all other things. So these things are exciting things, and along with that, we are trying to improvise the engineering excellence and
Yeah.
delivery aspects and all other aspects. So that is my day-to-day life at GE. It's up.
Yeah. I'm really certain moving back to kind of the financial domain after your very brief initial stint must have been exciting for you as well. Uh, so uh, when you're when you're seeing and interacting, I understand that the persona of team that you have here at Chubb must have been very different from the kind of people you were working with at GE as well. This change might have, exposed you as well to what kind of challenges people are facing in different domains, developing in their career. What advice would you have to, people, looking to build a career in IT and looking to excel in their area? In today's market, I understand that it is quite tough to really pick a path. But what advice would you have for them?
Yeah, there are. I think I was telling someone back a couple of weeks back also, right? Three advices I will give. One is right, growth is always not going into the next role. Okay, growth is what new technologies, functional areas, business processes, or domains you are learning within your current job, which will help you in a longer run. Okay, that's the first advice. And second thing is don't change company for some percentage of your salary hike, right? But even if you didn't like the work, then change it. Okay.
Mhm.
Once you develop a deep expertise in one area, you expand into another area. And if you know two technologies very deep, then I'm pretty sure throughout your career you will be successful not only in these two technologies and entire career technology, entire your career, right? That will help you these core technology aspects initially, especially people with less than 7, 8 years experience. The
Yeah.
more they learn in those 7, 8 areas without worrying about my designation or salary, later, right, you will get that paid back to you. Okay, you don't need to even
Mhm.
ask anyone. Okay, it will, but that's the second thing. I know many people won't like it, but I went through that phase and I see many like hundreds of young engineers shaping up their careers and all. And some people will keep jumping different companies and all. But this is my second advice. And third advantage is right, be humble with people. Okay, you can change company, but don't burn bridges and keep all the relationships and all other things because
Yeah.
as you becoming senior, the only way you will get all the jobs and roles are with your friends. That's the primary thing which you will get. So if I try
Mhm.
to summarize, don't always look for a growth in terms of next level. Growth is beyond next level. It's like, see, if you quickly grow 3, 4 roles, after that you will not be succeeded. I'm just telling, right? You
Mhm.
develop a core foundation, different domains, different technologies, and all that will help you in a longer run. And build relationships, and that's second thing. And third one is love your work, passionate whichever area it is, don't stick to one. I know some of the Salesforce people which I worked with, or Salesforce is the best in class technology. I don't want to do anything beyond Salesforce. I told them, okay, see, what if a company discontinue their Salesforce because either of the, I'm not negating against Salesforce because of their
Yeah.
license or some other issue or some other factors, right? Or that company itself ran into some issue or some other problem, right? And
Mhm.
you should know, if you work on one more technology, you should know why that is great, right? You can
Yeah.
always compare and contrast between technologies and functionalities and all. That's how
Absolutely.
it will develop your mindset. So these are the three things I will tell the people.
Wonderful. Wonderful. And so looking ahead, I'm sure everyone knows just how big of an impact AI will have. But what are some emerging technologies and use cases that you believe will have a lot of impact and you're very excited about?
Yeah, I think first thing is data. Okay.
Yeah.
So entire digital transformation, and no company will be successful without they analyze their data, they run different
Mhm.
models and predict what can come and where it can go wrong and all. Then second thing is automation. Okay. Automation, I'm not talking about only cognitive or generative AI. It's like automation at every possible level, right? To save
Right.
starting how you will code, how you will test, how you will deploy, how you are going to use data to automate some of the tasks, and how can we interact with different people. the ease of rising cases or ease of fixing issues, deploying all these things. I think, data and automation are the two areas. I'm not going through the technologies at this point, but
Yeah.
these two areas, irrespective of wherever we are, will always have a very good, deep, deep domain expertise. Building in any of these area will help beyond your technology work. Okay, whatever I'm saying is I'm not asking anyone to come to data or automation, but
Right.
working along with your technology stack, whichever you're working, focus on these two things so that it will help you to understand several other aspects other than your day-to-day work, and that will help the company to grow, and you also to grow over a period of time.
And so we've covered a bit of it in the past where we talked about growing in, developing 2 or 3 skills and really expanding deep knowledge to kind of gain benefit from it. But I would say with the information overload, I would say we were in a time where information was hard to get access to. But now, since information is very easily available. I guess there is a generic mindset of, dipping your feet into every avenue you can possibly dip your feet into. Uh, that has in itself, caused people to be fickle in terms of what they're learning and practicing, or what kind of companies they're working with. And it's a chain effect, right? What advice would you have for, let's say, a person who's an aspiring engineer right now, looking to break into the industry and is just amazed by people, switching jobs every year and not knowing how they should approach the industry?
Yeah, I think, see, switching job or switching technology is, I won't say that's bad, okay, but along with that, learn and own career in your passionate area. Okay, they just don't change because someone else changed or one of your friend or colleague changed, right?
Yeah.
Change it if you learning, you got an opportunity to learn something new. Change it if you are learning something very deep or in your passionate area. But whatever I will say is right, working across 7, 8 technologies in a very short span also will not help you to go to the grassroots of that area. Okay.
Right.
You can try initially couple of front end and couple of back end technologies and all, but stick to one area, develop deep domain expertise. See, the technology is one aspect. As you grow, right, technology is one, business process is another area. I think these two together will help you to grow as a technology leader over a period of time, because technology is these days treated as a kind of a commodity or source. Also, you can hire from some other people who got good mix of technology and the business process knowledge will be successful. That's the reason I will say, work in any company. I'm not recommending a particular company. Work in one place where you can learn these two and develop, people should, you should be a go-to person in that particular
Right.
area. After that, right, all other growth and all other roles, everything will follow you. That's my sincere advice to anyone. Work only in your passionate area. Okay, you joined one technology, you didn't like it. Okay, that's fine. Okay, you change it. And also, right, don't even say technology. Some people, once they join the technology, they will be passionate to do the business analysis, business analyst role. Some people may want to do a project management, product management, or program management. Work in your passionate area, develop the skill set, and then build a kind of a skill set that you are a go-to person, both in terms of the technology mindset and also with the business process. Then it will be automatically, you will be successful, not only in this company, anywhere in the world.
And I
That's my
think we have very strong evidence for that as well, because I was actually, before our session, going through the various recommendations people have left on your LinkedIn profile. And if there was one word I could see in most of those mentioned there, it was that you're a go-to person for your domain. And I guess you really practiced what you're preaching today. And it's great to see how your focus and your determination to learn has yielded so much in return. And just the trust of an organization asking you to own a new domain, asking you to own a new function is all you need in terms of gratification from a job. So this was wonderful, and I'm so delighted that the audience today can go back with the kind of insights you've shared with us. I hope you had a great time as well.
Yeah. Yeah, thanks, Mukul. Thanks for giving the opportunity. This helped me also to renew many things whichever I did it in my career, long career.
Absolutely,
So
absolutely.
nice talking to you, and we'll be in touch.
Yes, sir, definitely. For the audience, we'll join you next week with another session of Builders of Bharat. Until then, I hope you're building on your skill sets and you're ready to learn at all times and grow within your own organization. Thanks a lot, sir. And thanks, everyone.
Thank you.